UFC 302, Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. This is a super good matchup. Sean Strickland is ranked #1. Paulo Costa is ranked #7. Strickland is the favorite. And usually I pick these fights correct. I have like an 80% win rate when it comes to betting. So this is an interesting fight. I think it's going to be very similar to the Luke Rockhold and Paulo Costa fight that happened like a year or so ago. So let's look at that fight. Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa. Sean Strickland likes to primarily use his boxing. He likes to do that Philly shell style, and he likes to use his boxing. Even though he's good on the ground, he rarely ever shoots for takedowns. He has good kicks. He doesn't really throw many kicks. He's kind of just throws a pong teep. Paulo Costa, on the other hand, he has the like typical Brazilian style, Muay Thai and then Jiu-Jitsu. He has good wrestling too. So Paulo Costa uses more tools than Strickland. Strickland just fought for the belt, just fought the #1 guy, had a 5-round war. A lot of people thought he won the fight. So let's look at this fight.
Out of the southpaw stance in black. Paulo Costa, orthodox in white.
And you know Rockhold, skill for skill, he's as good as anyone.
No doubt.
Rockhold was a former champ, great fighter, skill for skill. He's super good, great kicks. The only big question about Rockhold was his chin. So already, just from a few seconds of this fight, Paulo Costa already has thrown a kick and he's thrown punches. So you can expect him to throw a lot of leg kicks in the fight with Strickland. I think that's going to give Strickland a lot of problems because when Strickland fought Alex Pereira, same kind of similar style. Even though Alex Pereira is a better kickboxer than Paulo Costa, the leg kicks were a big issue. Strickland probably has gotten better. He's definitely gotten better since that fight and has learned how to deal with that. But the leg kicks are going to be a big issue, I believe.
And if he can get this fight to the ground, you got to give Rockhold the advantage in the grappling. But it's the power of Costa.
Oh, he got hurt there.
We won't Strickland. The chances of Strickland shooting for a takedown are low or slim. I don't remember Strickland ever shooting for a takedown. And if he did, it would have been like earlier on in his UFC career. I don't remember none of his middleweight fights him shooting for a takedown. He doesn't even think to shoot for a takedown. So I don't see it going like this. I see Paulo Costa shooting for takedowns. And in a matter of fact, right here, I believe Paulo Costa takes Rockhold down.
Landing these strikes from the twitch.
Those big shots too.
Seems like perhaps Rockhold wants to try to take the fight down.
Here we go. So Paulo Costa, I think he's gonna be more versatile than Strickland. You know, Strickland is a hell of a fighter, but I do really think like if you're a great fighter like Strickland, you should be mixing it up a little bit more. You know, like don't just rely on your boxing because he's a black belt as well on the ground. You know, he's good everywhere. So I think when you rely so much on one tool, it really opens you up to it just makes you kind of predictable, you know? So that's the thing with this fight. If I'm betting, I'm going to bet on Costa. I like Strickland a lot, but if I'm betting, I'm going to bet on Costa because Costa's the underdog and he's a solid bet. He's a really, really solid bet. And I think he has a great chance of winning this fight. Super good chance. But now let's watch some highlights, some Sean Strickland highlights. Strickland, if he wins this fight, I think it's going to be by TKO if he wins this fight. Strickland rarely ever like knocks someone out with like just a one punch clean knockout. You know what I'm saying? He usually gasses people out. and really puts the pressure on them over time, and they end up crumbling, as we're going to see right here. So let's get into it. Is the rise of Sean Strickland. See, early on in his career, he would use his grappling.
Oh, there now he's teaming up. Bubba's in great position.
That was his debut, 2014.
Oh, another one. Man, 5 seconds.
As time goes on, he just becomes a boxer. And that could be because of his motorcycle accident as well. Maybe after the motorcycle accident, it's harder for him to wrestle, or he just doesn't want to wrestle, you know. That's stuff that happens as well.
Right back to working that jab. Garcia may be hurt here. Looks a little wobbly on those legs, and he is.
This is Strickland right here. This is his style. He usually gasses people out. He doesn't get tired, and he TKOs them with the accumulation of punches, similar to someone like Nick Diaz in his prime. If Strickland wins, that's how I see him winning. Just like this. Just a accumulation of punches. None of them are like super, super hard, but the accumulation of punches wearing out the opponent and TKOing them. There's a great chance that Strickland does this to Costa. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Strickland's a bad. He's a great fighter. There's a great chance that Strickland does this to Costa, but I think the difference is going to be like Costa is just going to be too versatile, you know, and using too many things, keeping him guessing. And I think that's where the fight is going to be won for Costa. But this is a really interesting fight. Other than that, I would say it's like a 50-50 matchup almost, you know. But don't sleep on Costa. If you're going to bet, me personally, if I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet on Costa. Underdog bet. That's how you're going to get the money. And he's a good, solid bet. I don't think he's just going to go in there and get pieced up or mauled. So I'm going with Costa for this fight.